Morning, everyone. Welcome to Yellowstone National Park at Slough Creek. My name is Bill Watkins. I'm a naturalist tour guide in Denali National Park. I've been working in Denali for over 34 years and used to also do part-time professional nature photography for about 18 years. And the reason why I'm here is because of the wolves here. One of the things that's recently been reported is that 3 wolves from the Junction Butte family group here in Yellowstone have been killed as they went north outside Yellowstone National Park. In fact, according to Rick McIntyre, who I talked to just a few days ago, the park boundary is only about 5 miles away, which would take the wolves about an hour to get to. The reason this is relevant is because the targeting and killing of Denali's wolves has been going on for years. Our wolves also leave the park going to the northeast quadrant of state lands, which is called the Wolf Townships. They're following the caribou herd there. And we've had hunters and trappers specifically target our wolves, not only with baits, also with saturation snaring, meaning they saturate an area with snares to try to nail them, and also with trapping. And there's also bear baiting that's allowed in the wolf townships as well. And usually bear baiting is for black bears, not in this case. It's for grizzlies. And this is also under research. I believe the conclusions will come out in regards to this research in about a year and a half, as to whether Denali bears are being attracted to these bait stations and killed there. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to tie in what's been going on in Denali for years in regards to our wolves to what's beginning to happen here at Yellowstone and also Glacier National Park due to the policies of the state of Montana, which again are now targeting the wolves of Yellowstone and also the wolves of Glacier National Park, and also of course on other federal lands as well, such as national forests, whether that's here in Montana or also here in the state of Idaho, and of course Wyoming, and then also of course in the state of Wisconsin as well. So let me just give you a little bit of background on this, and this is just some of the background. So back in 2005, one of our local trappers outside Denali National Park was successful in targeting and killing the alpha female of East Fork. East Fork was Denali's primary family group. It was certainly the longest lived one from a generational perspective, going all the way back to Adolph Murray's landmark study of wolves, which took place from 1939 to 1941. The alpha male, after she was killed, would repeatedly go back and forth to the area where she was trapped at, back into the park. He would eventually disperse, heading south, where he was shot outside of Cantwell. That would leave 6 1- and 2-year-old wolves together, but it fundamentally changed their behavior, changed their territory, changed their hunting habits and travel habits. It also coincided with a peak in the snowshoe hare population as well. And what this did is that it really significantly reduced visitor viewing of one of Denali's primary family groups of wolves all throughout this time. In fact, we didn't see East Fork from 2005 until the alpha male, another alpha male, was killed in 2016 at a bear bait station. And when that took place, there was only one wolf left. That was the alpha female. She dispersed into the Alaska wilderness. She was not radio collared at the time, and that put an end to Denali's most storied and legendary family group of wolves, and that was East Fork. Also during this time frame, from 2004 to 2011, we had Grant Creek, which was denning close to the park road with a couple of off years. And this would provide visitors unparalleled opportunities to see the comings and goings of not only the adult wolves, but beginning in late June, early July, the opportunity to see wolf pups. And we very seldom get a chance to see wolf pups. In fact, in 2010, visitor viewing reached its all-time peak in Denali at about 45%. And by the way, one of the differences, at least between this fall here in Yellowstone and seeing wolves, typically I've been seeing wolves 2, 3, 4, maybe even 5 miles away, where You at least need binoculars, and if they're 3, 4, 5 miles away, well, you got to have spotting scopes. In Denali with Grant Creek, these were high quality wolf sightings where they came in close, where they would typically, in many cases, go right by the bus, where you wouldn't even need a pair of binoculars. Other times you would, but it was not unusual for us to have high quality viewing of wolves, whether out on the tundra, on the park road itself, going by the bus, or also seeing these wolf pups as they actually came up to the park road. In fact, I took a video of the family literally together. I think it was back in 2008, and that video is actually on YouTube. And so anyway, it was a very high quality, dynamic situation for visitors to actually see wolves and to see them close. Well, that came to an end in 2012. The same trapper who killed the alpha female of East Fork in 2005, well, he took his horse to the northern boundary, he shot it, used it as bait, and he was successful in killing the alpha female and the primary attendant female of Grant Creek. This caused massive cascading disruptions, very similar to what happened at East Fork in 2005, where this family group of wolves went from 15 to 5 to 3 wolves. It changed their territory. They shifted further to the east, then to the north. They moved their den site well away from the Park Road area, and visitor viewing of wolves dramatically declined from 45% in 2010 to 4 to 6% after 2012. Now, in 2018, we did have a family group called Riley Creek West that set up rendezvous sites in the same area that Grant Creek had been denning. And so visitor viewing did go up in 2018, but this was short-lived because Grant Creek or Riley Creek West didn't survive the winter due to natural reasons. So wolf-to-wolf conflict, that's a real common form of natural mortality for wolves. And then in 2019, that was our all-time worst year for visitor viewing of wolves in Denali, where only 1% of visitors actually saw wolves in Denali in 2019. And in fact, in that year, myself and my fellow drivers went ahead and did kind of an unofficial survey of drivers during the mid-season and towards the end of the season, because we weren't seeing much in the way of wolves, and I wanted to see if this is just isolated to my experience and the passengers on board my bus, or whether this was going out through the rest of the drivers as well. And it was going out through everyone. Very few people saw wolves in 2019. In fact, I was shut out that year. This past year in 2021, I did have 3 very distant wolf sightings, and that was in the Highway Pass area. Most of the other wolf sightings that we're seeing that year were between Toklat, which is mile 53, and Eielson Visitor Center, which is mile 66. But there were very few. In fact, our Eielson dispatchers were probably the ones who saw the most number of wolves this summer season. But overall, it was a very poor year. And by the way, with the Pretty Rock situation, with that major landslide that's ongoing because of melting permafrost at mile 45, that puts that whole area out of reach for any kind of wolf viewing, and also for any kind of bear viewing, and that is the best bear viewing in the park in Denali. So the next 2 years, at least the next 1 year until they get the bridge built over the Pretty Rocks area, is going to be really bleak for any kind of bear viewing, and certainly for wolf viewing out in that area. I think there was only maybe 2 or 3 sightings east of the Toklat this past summer, at least that I heard of. So yeah, very, very bleak year. So just to kind of summarize what's going on in Denali, our wolves go outside the park. It's not unusual for them to be targeted and trapped, snared, and killed. They don't have to kill the entire family group. They only have to kill the alpha male or female to cause massive disruption within the family group that can either create these cascading disruptions, changing the normal behavior of them, or the behavior that they adopted at that point. And which can ruin visitor viewing, or it can lead to the entire disintegration of the family group. So the reason that's important here is because, again, in regards to Junction Butte, they don't have to kill the remaining 24 wolves to create this massive disruption. They only have to kill 1 or 2. If they kill that alpha female, and she's the most important as far as keeping, she's kind of the social glue and keeping that family group together, again, it can massively disrupt the family group and change their fundamental behavior as it currently is, making visitor viewing of these wolves here in Yellowstone highly unlikely. Or if they kill the alpha male, or both. So again, they don't have to kill the entire family group to cause this massive disruption. We've been seeing this over and over and over again in Denali. And so Denali kind of has this rotation, when wolves are taken out, killed in the wolf townships, and they either disintegrate as a family group or they move their territory outside the park. Yes, a new family group will come in from outside the park, but they will not necessarily adopt the exact same behaviors as the previous group. And they can either adopt behaviors which allow visitor viewing either quickly, or it can take years before they adopt those behaviors. And so it's critically important that whether it's in Denali or Yellowstone or certainly Glacier, that the wolves are protected on these adjacent state and also federal lands. Otherwise, it can just have a severe impact on the visitor viewing of these wolves. And this is subversion of national park protections, and that's the other reason why I wanted to come down here. I don't want people just to think that Denali is an isolated case. With the targeting and killing of Yellowstone's and Glacier's wolves, you've got now 3 national parks where their protections are being subverted by the extremists in the hunting and trapping community. And that's currently what's going on here.